Friends, what's up? Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. It's time to pour one out for 2022. Year's coming to an end, and it's time to go over the best men's releases of the year, or at least in my opinion, my 10 favorite. When the year started, I was really looking forward to it. I was looking forward to all these new fragrances, and at the beginning of the year, there were a bunch. There were a whole lot of fragrances coming out, being announced, it seemed like every week. New releases, both huge and a little bit smaller, but at least new releases, and I was happy. I was thinking to myself, pandemic is in the rearview mirror. It's gonna go back to normal. It's gonna be even better than before. We're gonna get more new releases. That did not happen. About halfway through the year, basically seemed like every single fragrance company was like, we don't need any more new stuff for the rest of the year. Yeah, screw it. So, yeah. Instead of ending on a bang with all kinds of cool new releases, we are ending on a pathetic whimper. But let's keep a happy face on, and let's talk about some of the better things that came out this year. Let's jump into it. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you guys that the best thing that came out this year was my stuff. I'm just playing with you, but I do love them. You look good, guy. That's not weird. My new fragrances came out this year, Blue Ridge and Terra Nova. Check them out. Link in the description. Also did a video on them on the channel, so check that out too. And if you pick one up, use the code GENTS to save yourself 20% off. Jet Black Enigma, not new. This came out last year, but it's re-released in case you want to scoop that too. Okay, honorable mentions. I've got a couple of them. First one is this guy, Lacoste L1212 Blanc Eau Fraiche. This is one of the earlier releases this year, and my wife loves this stuff, goes crazy for the opening. And I do think that the opening is awesome. One of my favorite citrus and ginger openings ever, as far as designers go. The issue with this one is that as it dries down, it doesn't maintain as much of that like magic that the opening has. It still smells fine. It's just not anywhere near close to the opening. So this one, honorable mention, the opening so good, but the dry down, so okay. And then H24 Eau de Parfum from Hermes, also honorable mention. I did not like the original. I don't like H24 Eau de Toilette. Too metallic, too thin, feels like there are things missing from it. This one rectifies pretty much all those issues for me. It's got more to it, more depth, more nuance, just better done, smoother. Not quite as overwhelmingly metallic, still maintains that green feel to it. H24 Eau de Parfum, big step up from the Eau de Toilette for me, so I like this one a lot more. Let's jump into the top 10 with Ralph Lauren Ralph's Club Parfum. Now, the original Ralph's Club, the Eau de Parfum, that one caught a lot of hate from people who thought it was just too generic, boring, whatever. Insert your preferable diss here. Go ahead and fill in the blank, whatever you like to diss generic fragrances with. That's what people said about the original. But I actually liked it pretty well. I thought it was easy to wear, versatile, compliment puller, did what they set out to do. Reminded me, a little bit of the Y line from YSL, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. And then this guy came out, and I think it's even better than the original. It's not quite as loud as the original Ralph's Club, definitely smoother, richer, a little bit more mature. The apple and the lavender in the opening, really appealing. As it dries down, a nice vetiver comes out as well. Great versatile fragrance, number 10 for me. Number 9 is Armani Code Parfum. Now, of course, with this one, they've shaken up the Armani Code line. They've changed out the iconic original bottle with this new style with a magnetic cap and a little bit less descript bottle. The fragrance itself, though, is really good. The opening is a very fresh take, at least to me, of Armani Code, much more modern than the original. Introduces iris in here. It's a smooth fragrance. It's not as aggressively sweet and spicy as something like Profumo or Absolute Gold. Instead, it's a modern evolution of what they set into motion with Armani Code Eau de Parfum. And I actually think that Armani Code Parfum is a better wear for me than the Eau de Parfum. So number 9. Number 8, Azzaro's The Most Wanted Parfum, which is obviously an evolution of the Most Wanted Eau de Parfum Intense. Ginger, bourbon, vanilla, and incandescent woods, which is a fancy way of saying woodiness with a slight smokiness to it. It has that stronger with you type DNA to it, that gourmand feel, that sweetness, that warmth, that mass appeal, that complement factor. It has that in spades. It is a fantastic fall and wintertime fragrance, and that bit of smokiness that it does have with the woods, I think really elevates this. Number 7, Tom Ford Noir Extreme Parfum. Yeah, look at that, I'm blinding you. When this one first came out, like very first came out, there were a decent amount of people who said that it kind of sucked, that it was just too much, that it was kind of an abomination of sorts. But as time has gone on, it seems like the tides have changed a bit and people are coming around and very much enjoying it. And I liked this one pretty much right from the get-go as soon as I sprayed it on. It is expensive, being a Tom Ford, but at least you get good quality with it. You have cardamom in here, ginger, a little citrus, coffee, vanilla, and leather. It's another one that stands out during fall and winter time. And it has a very good performance, though not apocalyptically so. It lasts for a long time off my skin, but it doesn't project like an unchained beast. I mean, it's definitely strong enough that people can easily pick it up. It's just not maybe as insanely strong as you might expect with the name Extreme and Parfum in there. Still, great release. Love this one. Number 6, probably the biggest surprise on this whole list. It is 1 Million Elixir from Paco Rabanne. I'm blinding you again. This one also a little bit of a similarity to the Stronger With You line, but honestly, this one and the Most Wanted Parfum, they're not that close that, you know, they become redundant. I think you can very, very, very easily own this, the Most Wanted Parfum, and Stronger With You intensely, absolutely, or the original, and they don't overlap too much. Like, you can smell bits and pieces from each one of those fragrances in each other, but they're definitely different enough that they're their own thing. So why is this one a bit of a surprise? Well, my wife wasn't a massive fan of this when I first got it in. If memory serves correctly, she said it smelled like a caramel factory or something like that, like it was just too sweet for her. And honestly, that's saying something. And I also thought it was very sweet, very, very sweet. But as I wore it more as the year went on, especially as it started to chill out, I've worn it a little bit, it's actually pretty good. Yeah. I know sometimes it can be trendy to hate on Paco Rabanne fragrances, and sometimes it's warranted, to be fair. But 1 Million Elixir is one that I found myself really being drawn to. Yes, it's still sweet, quite sweet, and yes, it has a little bit of a caramel type flair to it, even if that's not an official note. At least I don't think it is. It does have rose in there as an official note, apple and vanilla as well. It's actually a pretty solid attention-grabbing scent, good performance. As long as you get past that sweetness in the opening, it smells great as it dries down, and especially in the air. Top 5, number 5, Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum. Now, I may not like Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum quite as much as I like Profundo, but I gotta say, I still like what this does. I think it smells very good. It has sea notes, minerality, mandarin. It's a little bit aromatic. Of course, it's very fresh. Yes, it could remind you of other fragrances that have come before it in the Acqua di Gio line, like the original, for example, or Acqua di Gio Profundo, my favorite. So it's not one that's, you know, really going very far off the path that has already been set by other Acqua di Gio releases, but I still think it smells awesome. So number 5, Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum. Number 4, Narciso Rodriguez for Hilm Bleu Noir Parfum. Yes, it is an iris-based fragrance. Yes, that is why it is placing pretty high, just because I love scents that are kind of like that. This one has tonka, it's got cypress, cardamom, sandalwood, suede, along with that iris. It has a bit of a similarity to Valentino Uomo Intense, which is another scent that I think is absolutely fantastic. So this is one that's gonna be in the same ballpark as stuff like Valentino Uomo Intense, Dior Homme Intense, Dior Homme Original, Gentleman Eau de Parfum, stuff like that. Very, very classy, good staying power, last on your skin a long time. Projection, more moderate, but I think with this type of scent, it fits it perfectly in terms of performance. So Bleu Noir Parfum, number 4. Number 3, Stronger With You Oud from Emporio Armani. Now, this one, being an exclusive edition, is harder to find in the United States. You can get it at fragrancebuy.ca sometimes. It does sell out from time to time there. That's where I got mine. That's where I've seen it in stock the most. But with this one, if you're in the US, basically you want to keep your eyes open at fragrance discounters. It will not be in stock at Macy's or any of those other stores. The official note breakdown on this one is really simple. It's basically just lavender, vanilla, oud. Yeah, one of those times where they give you almost no information at all. Obviously, that's not all that's in the fragrance. It smells quite similar to Stronger With You Intensely, also a little bit like Stronger With You Absolutely, Stronger With You Oud. So again, this is not a fragrance changing anything in any big way. It's just an evolution and a twist to an existing DNA that I already like a lot. It does have absolutely that kind of glazed chestnut toffee feeling to it. So don't look at that note breakdown, lavender, oud, and vanilla and think, oh, well, where's the gourmand kind of feel to it? You know, where's that warmth? Where's that sweetness? It's there. It's still there. And actually the oud note in here is not overly prominent. Yes, you can pick it up, but it's not like some funky fecal barnyard oud. Instead, it's like this, you know, slightly dark, lightly spiced woodiness that's very appealing and mixes together perfectly with the Stronger With You DNA. So that one's number 3. Number 2 and number 1 were very difficult for me. Originally, I had them flopped. I had number 2 at number 1 and number 1 at number 2. Went back and forth, smelled them, wore them, back and forth, and eventually settled on this. But understand that number 2 and number 1 were like this close. I mean, honestly, they could just be tied. Number 2, Terre d'Hermès Eau Givre from Hermès. Now this one, the opening is just fantastic. It's like right up there with the Lacoste as far as just how much that initial opening, the first time I smelled it, captured my attention. The citron in here is just off the chain. It's a little bit natural smelling in the way that it has a light rindiness to it. So it's not just sweet, there's also a bit of tartness. That really gives the fragrance life to me. You know, it gives it this sparkle. It gives it just this zest that I love. With it being a Terre d'Hermès, it is also a good classy scent. You know, it's one you could wear easily to the office, but it works perfectly during the summertime. And it's one of those deals where Terre d'Hermès Eau Très Fraîche getting harder to find. Typically that would be more of a buzzkill for me. But with this one coming out and basically taking its place as like the summertime release in the line, and me loving this one so much, it really takes the edge off. Takes that sting out. So that one's number 2. Number 1, you probably already know, Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé. This is just currently one of my favorite iris-based fragrances, designer-wise, period. It smells so good. It's smooth. I think smoother than the Eau de Parfum. That little bit of booziness that it adds, that little sweetness around the edges really elevates this, takes it to the next level. And this is one that has grown on me and grown on me and grown on me. When I first smelled it, yes, of course, I thought it smelled awesome, but I didn't know if it was quite different enough. I thought that the booziness could have been amped up a little bit, you know, to set it apart even more. But then as I wore it and I got to know the fragrance more. It sounds like I'm taking it on a date. But as I got to know the fragrance more, I really just came around to understanding the way it is. It's perfect. It doesn't need more booziness because you don't want it to get like sickly sweet. So the way that it is awesome. And if you're getting into iris-based fragrances, that one you have got to check out. It's the number 1 most popular fragrance of the year on Fragrantica.com, and I think for good reason. Awesome release. So there we go. Those are my 10 favorite of the year for men. Designers. Let me know in the comments what you like the most this year. What's your favorite? Thank you for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.